Dimensions and dimensional analysis. The dimensions of a physical quantity are the powers. Remember, these are the powers. Powers of what? These are the powers of the concerned fundamental units. These are the powers of concerned fundamental units raised to the suitable orders in order to obtain the unit of a given physical quantity. So what are dimensions? Dimensions of a physical quantity are the powers to which the concerned fundamental units must be raised in order to obtain the unit of given physical quantity. Now to obtain dimensions, we have to break the given physical quantity to its fundamental levels. Consider velocity. Velocity is defined as rate of change of displacement per unit time. Now when we measure displacement, what do we measure? Its length, the fundamental quantity. So we'll denote length by capital L and time will be denoted by capital T. Now usually when the quantity itself is written, it's actually L raised to 1 and T raised to 1. Now shift this T raised to 1 from denominator to numerator, and according to the laws of indices, the power of T will change by its sign, and so L raised to 1 and T raised to minus 1. These are known as the dimensions of velocity. Now let us have one more example. Now let us consider force. Let us try to find the dimensions of force. Now when we try to find the dimensions of force, let us write formula for force. Force is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration. Now mass itself is a fundamental quantity, no need to break it further. So we'll write that as capital M multiplied by acceleration. Acceleration is rate of change of velocity per unit time. So we can write that as velocity divided by time. That is equal to mass into velocity itself can be written as displacement divided by time and total divided by time. Now this quantity of time in the denominator of numerator will go to the denominator, and therefore next step will be that is equal to mass multiplied by displacement divided by time into time raised to 2. That is equal to, now mass itself is a fundamental quantity appearing once, so we'll write m raised to the power 1. Displacement, which fundamental quantity is this? Displacement is length appearing once, so length raised to 1, time 2 times in the denominator, so t raised to 2. Now shift that time 2 times t raised to 2 from denominator to numerator, and its index will change by sign, and so it is raised to minus 2. So these are the dimensions of force. Now how we derive the dimensions of force? First we have written a formula for force, mass into acceleration. Then we have broken up the quantities that are possible into all fundamental levels. Then velocity is written as displacement upon time. And finally we got the answer as m raised to 1, L raised to 1, T raised to minus 2. Now these are certain physical quantities. Their formula, SI unit and dimensional formula. Density, formula is rho equal to mass upon volume, mass per unit volume, SI unit kilogram per meter cube, and dimensions. Now you can observe over here kilogram per meter cube. Kilogram, which fundamental quantity is this? Its mass appearing once in the numerator, so m raised to 1, and meter cube in the denominator. Meter, length is the fundamental quantity in the denominator. So when it will go to the numerator, its index will change by sign. And so m upon L raised to 3 is m raised to 1 over here, m raised to 1 into L raised to minus 3. So this is how we have written the dimensional formula for density. Next, acceleration, rate of change of velocity per unit time, velocity upon time. Now velocity itself, displacement upon time, unit is meter per second square. Now see meter is length in the numerator, so L raised to 1, and second, time raised to 2 in the denominator. Whatever is there in the denominator will finally appear in the numerator with negative sign of its index, that is second square. In dimensional formula it will become t raised to minus 2. Okay. Next, momentum, mass multiplied by velocity. Kilogram meter per second is its unit. Kilogram, mass, m raised to 1, meter, L raised to 1, and time once in the denominator, so t raised to minus 1. L1, m1, t raised to minus 1. Next quantity is force. We have just now calculated the dimensions of force. SI unit of force, kilogram meter per second square. Kilogram, mass raised to 1, meter, length raised to 1, and per second square. Second, time is the fundamental quantity, so t raised to minus 2. So these are the dimensions of force, L1 m1 t raised to minus 2. Next impulse, force multiplied by time. Now in the dimensions of force, you have to multiply it by time, that's it. So what are the dimensions of force? See here, L raised to 1 m raised to 1 t raised to minus 2 multiplied by time, that is t raised to 1, t raised to minus 2 into t raised to 1 minus 2 plus 1 minus 1, and so the dimensions of impulse are L1 m1 t minus 1. Next is work. Work is equal to force into displacement. Now force into displacement, displacement is length, the fundamental quantity. So dimensions of force multiplied by the dimensions of displacement. Now what are the dimensions of force? L raised to 1, m raised to 1, t raised to minus 2 are the dimensions of force multiplied by displacement, that is L raised to 1. Now L raised to 1 into L raised to 1, L raised to 1 plus 1, that is 2. And see what are the dimensions of work. L raised to 2, m raised to 1, t raised to minus 2. Kinetic energy has the dimensions same as that of work, because work is also a form of energy and kinetic energy itself is a form of energy. Next, the last one is pressure, force per unit area, force per unit area. So we have to divide the dimensions of force by area. Now let us derive the formula for dimensions of pressure. So pressure is equal to force per unit area. The dimensions of force are L raised to 1, m raised to 1, t raised to minus 2 divided by area. In area, length appears twice, meter square. So L raised to 2. When we'll shift this L raised to 2 from denominator to numerator, it will turn minus 2. So that is L raised to 1, m raised to 1, t raised to minus 2 into L raised to minus 2. Now L raised to 1 into L raised to minus 2. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So L raised to minus 1, m raised to 1 and t raised to minus 2. These are the dimensions of pressure. See here, L raised to minus 1, m raised to 1 and t raised to minus 2. Now the uses of dimensional analysis. First use is to check the correctness of a physical equation. Now the given physical equation, consider the equation like V equal to U plus AT. We want to check its correctness using dimensional analysis. Then according to the principle of homogeneity, dimensions of left hand side must be equal to dimensions on right hand side. Then and then only we can say that the given physical equation is correct according to the dimensional analysis. Now let us consider one more example. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. Now we know that what is V? V is equal to final velocity. U is equal to initial velocity. A is equal to acceleration and S is equal to displacement. Let us try to write the dimensions on left hand side now. Dimensions on LHS is equal to dimensions of V square. Now V is the velocity. Dimensions of velocity are L raised to 1, t raised to minus 1 raised to 2. Now let us square the term. L raised to 1 raised to 2. L raised to 1 raised to 2 is L raised to 2. Power of power is multiplication of powers. L raised to 1 raised to 2 is L raised to 1 into 2. Similarly, t raised to minus 1 raised to 2 is minus 1 multiplied by 2. That is t raised to minus 2. Let this be equation number 1. Now let us try to find out the dimensions on right hand side. So now the dimensions on right hand side, I am writing only right hand side, but remember these are the dimensions on the right hand side, is equal to U square plus 2AS. Now U is velocity itself. The only thing is its initial velocity. So the dimensions of U square are going to be same as that of the dimensions of V square. So I will write them directly. The dimensions of U square are L raised to 2, t raised to minus 2. So L raised to 2, t raised to minus 2 are the dimensions of U square plus 2 into the dimensions of acceleration, meter per second square, meter, L raised to 1 per second square, t raised to minus 2 multiplied by S. Now S over here is displacement. Displacement is length, the fundamental quantity, L raised to 1. Now here length L raised to 1 multiplied by L raised to 1 is equal to L raised to 2. So L raised to 2 into T raised to minus 2 plus 2 into L raised to 2 into T raised to minus 2. Now, numbers do not have any dimensions. So while calculating dimensions only, we do not consider numbers. So we are going to neglect 2 over here. And plus, dimensions do not get added. Like L raised to 2 plus L raised to 2 is not 2 into L raised to 2 because we neglect numbers. So simply what we'll write is, the dimensions on the right hand side are L raised to 2, T raised to minus 2. Let this be equation number 2. Now see, from equation number 1 and 2 we get same dimensions on both the sides. On left hand side, the dimensions are L raised to 2, T raised to minus 2, which are same as that of the dimensions on right hand side, L raised to 2, T raised to minus 2. Therefore we can write, therefore dimensions on left hand side is equal to dimensions on right hand side, and therefore given equation is correct, or you can say true also. Given equation is true. Next application of dimension analysis is to establish the relationship between different physical quantities. By using dimensional analysis, we can establish a relationship between the physical quantities in a particular law or a particular equation. For example, now we know that the period of simple pendulum is given by the formula T is equal to 2 pi under root L upon G. Let us assume this formula. We will try to establish this relation using dimensional analysis. Now under root, square root stands for power raised to half. So this is actually 2 pi L raised to half divided by G raised to half. If you will shift the G from denominator to numerator, where G is the acceleration due to gravity, this is actually L raised to half into G raised to minus half. So this is the formula for time period of simple pendulum. Time period of simple pendulum. Let us write the different quantities now. T is the time period of simple pendulum. Time period or periodic time. SI unit second. So time appears once in the numerator, dimension T raised to 1. L is the length of the pendulum, meter. Length appears once in the numerator, so dimensions are L raised to 1. G, acceleration due to gravity, meter per second square. Meter, length, numerator, L raised to 1. And time twice in the denominator, 1 upon T raised to 2 is T raised to minus 2. So these are the dimensions of time period T, length L, and acceleration due to gravity G. Now we are going to establish the relationship between these quantities. Right now we don't know the exact relation between time, length, and acceleration due to gravity. So let us consider that time period is proportional to L raised to A and time period is proportional to G raised to B, where A and B are constants. Combining these two proportionalities, we can write, therefore T is proportional to L raised to A and G raised to B. Now whenever we convert any proportionality into equality, we have to introduce a constant of proportionality, and over here let us consider that K is the constant of proportionality. So T is equal to K into L raised to A, G raised to B. Now let us write the dimensions on both the sides. Therefore, on left hand side, its time period. So dimensions are T raised to 1 only. So that is equal to constant K into the dimensions of length L raised to 1 raised to A, and the dimensions of G, acceleration due to gravity, L raised to 1 T raised to minus 2 raised to B. Therefore, now let us write the complete dimensions of on left hand side. It's only T raised to 1. Therefore, I will write L raised to 0, M raised to 0. So it appears 0 times length on left hand side. So it's written L raised to 0. No mass on left hand side appears 0 times. So M raised to 0. Then T raised to 1. That is equal to constant K. Now we'll remove this constant because we are up to dimensional analysis and we do not consider constants in dimensional analysis. So L raised to 1 raised to A. L raised to 1 raised to A is L raised to A, multiplied by L raised to 1 raised to B, L raised to B, and T raised to minus 2 raised to B. So minus 2 into B, minus 2B. Let us simplify it furthermore, and therefore we get L raised to 0, M raised to 0, T raised to 1. That is equal to the dimensions on the right hand side. See, L raised to A into L raised to B. base same L and multiplication, so there has to be addition of indices, and t raised to minus 2b. Now LHS equal to RHS, therefore dimensions should be same on both the sides, and therefore we get L raised to 0 is equal to L raised to A plus B. A plus B is equal to 0, therefore we get A is equal to negative of B. Let this be equation number 1. Now let us compare mass. No mass is there on right hand side, so no need to compare mass. Now let us compare time. T raised to 1 is equal to t raised to minus 2b, and therefore we get 1 is equal to minus 2b, and therefore we get b is equal to minus 1 upon 2. Okay. Now let us find A. A is equal to minus of B, that is equal to minus of minus 1 upon 2, and so we get A is equal to minus minus plus 1 upon 2. Let us now write the equation for time period in terms of A and B, and therefore we get time period of simple pendulum is equal to K into, now what it was, see over here, T is equal to K into L raised to A, G raised to B, L raised to A, so L raised to half, and G raised to B, that is minus 1 upon 2. So we got T equal to K into L raised to half, G raised to minus half. Now what is the correct equation? See the correct equation, we do not get a constant term in proportionality characters, and therefore we got a correct equation relation between time period, length and acceleration due to gravity. Now practically we can verify that the value of K is equal to 2 pi, and so this way we can establish the relation between different physical quantities using dimensional analysis. Third application of dimensional analysis is to find the conversion factor of a physical quantity between different systems of unit. Now what is the conversion factor? I'll explain this first and then we'll go for a particular example. See, 1 kilometer is equal to 10 raised to 3 meter, that is 1000 meter. So what we have to do is, to convert a kilometer into meter, we have to multiply it by 1000. This is conversion factor. This 1000 is conversion factor over here to convert distance from kilometer to meter. So a quantity with which we have to multiply a given unit in order to change it into another system is known as conversion factor. Now let us have one more example, kilogram to gram. 1 kilogram is equal to 1000 gram. Okay. So in order to convert from kilogram to gram, we have to multiply by 1000. So 1000 conversion factor over here. You also call that as the multiplying factor, but the more authentic word is conversion factor. So better you call it as a conversion factor. If you want to convert kilogram to milligram, then we have to multiply it by 10 raised to 6. So 1 kilogram is equal to 10 raised to 6 milligram. Okay. So 10 raised to 6 is the conversion factor over here. So now let us try to find out the conversion factor for work to convert it from SI system to CGS system. Units of work are joule in SI system and erg in CGS system. Now we need to find a conversion factor to convert work from SI system to CGS system. I want to find that 1 joule is equal to how many erg. Right now I don't know how many erg, so I'll consider that 1 joule is equal to x erg. Okay. Now let us write the dimensions on both the sides. Now dimensions of work, we'll write it directly. The dimensions of work are L raised to 2, M raised to 1 and T raised to minus 2. Now remember, this is SI system on left hand side and CGS system on right hand side. So x into dimensions. Now dimensions remain same whether it is in SI system or CGS system. System of units do not decide the dimensions. Dimensions are purely decided by the fundamental quantities appearing in the given unit, and fundamental quantities are constant irrespective of the system of units. Okay, so they are the same on both the sides. Now what we are going to do, we are going to write the units for the fundamental quantities on the respective sides. On left hand side, SI system, so length is measured in meter, so meter square, mass into kilogram, and time in second raised to minus 2, that is equal to x into length in CGS, centimeter square, gram and time second raised to minus 2. Let us cancel the same terms on both the sides. So second raised to minus 2 gets cancelled on both the sides. Okay, now let us write meter in terms of centimeter. Now 1 meter is equal to 10 raised to 2 centimeter. 1 meter is equal to 10 raised to 2 centimeter. Now I have to write meter square. So 1 meter square is equal to square the terms on the right hand side. 10 raised to 2 raised to 2 is 10 raised to 4 centimeter square. So we got 10 raised to 4 centimeter square multiplied by kilogram. Let us convert kilogram into gram. 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram is equal to 1000. That is 10 raised to 3 gram. And so we get 10 raised to 3 gram over here. And that is equal to x into centimeter square and gram. Let us cancel the common terms again. Centimeter square, gram gets cancelled. And therefore we get 10 raised to 4 into 10 raised to 3. Base same, addition of indices. 10 raised to 4 plus 3, 7 is equal to x. And here we got the conversion factor for the units of work from SI system into CGS system. And therefore we can write 1 joule is equal to 10 raised to 7 erg. Now we can convert vice versa also. That is from erg to joule also. If I have to convert from erg to joule, I like to write 1 erg is equal to, now this 10 raised to 7 go to the denominator of joule, and from denominator it will go to the numerator with negation of its index. So 1 erg is equal to 10 raised to minus 7 joule. Okay, small letter over here according to the conventions of writing SI units.